Okay, welcome to the high ticket client acquisition blueprint for freelancers and professionals. So, this course is created as a blueprint to help you land high paying clients, whether you're a freelancer or you're a professional. Okay, you could be a professional, you want to kind of grow your network, you want to spread your tentacles, and network is everything as a professional. So, this course kind of guides you on how you can actually meet high quality people and land high paying clients, whether you're a freelancer or professional. So, let's talk about the new reality of freelancing. Okay, a lot of people struggle. A lot of people struggle to actually get clients, get high quality clients, get high ticket clients. And why is that? The first thing is a lot of freelancers, most freelancers are actually out there competing on price. And then you're just always fighting for scraps on all of these platforms. Platforms like Fiverr, platforms like Upwork, platforms like Freelancer, all of these platforms, you have a lot of skilled freelancers because we have a lot of skilled people here in Nigeria, here in Africa that have the quality, that have what it takes to actually compete on the top level. But because you're on these platforms, you just have to come down and fight for the scraps that are available on these platforms because there are more people competing for these jobs than you actually have the jobs available. Okay, so you don't want to stay on that level, and then you have zero control over the client flow. You don't have a control over what to do to actually land high quality clients. Okay, you have zero control over the client flow. You have to be reliant on these algorithms that are not actually designed to favor you. They're actually designed to favor these platforms. Platforms like Fiverr, like Upwork, like Freelancer, they are not actually designed to favor you. They're designed to favor the creators of Fiverr, the creators of Upwork. And then they can actually just shut down your account anytime. Your account can be shut down anytime, and then you just realize you have to start from ground zero. Okay, so at the end of the day, this doesn't just work. Okay, you might be making some money, but it's difficult to scale, it's difficult to grow. Okay, how do you want to grow to actually landing the big clients using this kind of platforms? Okay, now let's talk about the better way to approach it. How can you actually get high quality clients? What is the better approach to this? The first thing is you want to make sure you are working with high ticket clients directly. These clients know you, they know they are not reaching out to you through an escrow. You are building a real relationship, and then you are building a real business, a business that you can end up growing and scaling. Okay, you want to make sure you are working with these high ticket clients one on one directly. Okay, whether you are working with them as a freelancer or a professional or an agency or a company, you want to make sure you're working with your clients directly. Okay, and then you want to build systems, not luck. You don't want to hope that you're going to get jobs, and keep refreshing these apps and keep refreshing Fiverr, keep refreshing Upwork, keep refreshing Freelancer, hoping that maybe something will come in. No, you want to build systems and know, if I have this input, I should get this amount of output. Okay, if you're not getting the results you want, okay, I just need to change this, and then you can actually build an empire, you can build a business from that. So you need to build systems, not just luck. Okay, and then you want to create freedom. Okay, you want to create freedom, you want to create stability. Imagine if you can actually control when you work, how you work, who you work with. That is the freedom that every freelancer and every professional actually dreams of. Okay, you want to create freedom. You don't want to be under the mercy of somebody or under the mercy of a platform. Okay, quickly, let me tell you my story and why you should actually listen to me. The first thing is, I myself worked on Fiverr and I made lots of money working on Fiverr. So I know how this platform works. I've made lots of money working, and I worked on Fiverr for years. And while working on Fiverr, I even decided to travel out of the country, to live a better life, since I was making somewhat okay money. Not long after I actually left Nigeria, I got banned. Fiverr banned my account. Now, kind of picture this. I left Nigeria and I traveled out of Nigeria, hoping that Fiverr will continue to bring money just the way it was bringing money. And I was in a new country. I was paying rent per month, and then Fiverr banned my account. Things just went messy from there. So Fiverr banned my account, and I had to just return back to Nigeria to re-strategize. And at that point, I knew this doesn't work. I knew I had to get something that had better control over and didn't want to be at the mercy of all of these platforms. Okay, then I decided to learn how to actually build systems. I learned how to create systems that bring in inbound and outbound high quality clients. And then within the first 2 weeks of actually implementing these systems, I got my first client, and this was a $4,000 3D rendering project. And then I kept on doing this, and within the first few months I got another contract, and this time the contract was worth $22,400 for a single contract. Okay, so this actually shows that it works because I did a very good job. That single client actually referred other clients to me, and I was able to grow my business from there. And even using this same system, I had the opportunity to bid for another project of $80,000. Okay, so all of this using the same systems I'm going to be sharing with you in this course. So it's to show you that it actually works. After having such system, I was able to relocate again without fear. And this time I was able to relocate with my family, with my wife and my kids, without having to deal with the anxiety of platforms like Fiverr or Upwork or Freelancer banning my account. Okay, so you too can build this, and I'm going to be showing you how in this course. Okay, so let's talk about how you can actually identify high ticket clients. Okay, because not every client out there is an high ticket client, and not every niche is an high ticket niche. Okay, so you need to know who they are, where they hang out, and how you can actually get them to pay you for your services. So the first thing is, who are actually these high ticket clients? Okay, you keep saying high ticket client. What does it mean for a client to be an high ticket client? Okay, these are clients who are willing to pay premium rates for your services. You don't want to look for clients that is always going for the cheapest option, and that's why some of these platforms are not just usually the best. You can get some quality clients from these platforms, yes, but the majority of the clients that come to these platforms are actually there to get the cheapest possible rates. And then these are clients that are always looking for value. They look for, if they are talking to you, they want to see if you can actually provide the value that you're promising, and not just whether or not you are ready to do it for little to nothing. And then these are clients who are willing to build long-term relationships. And there's one thing I've learned from working with high ticket clients, and it is that they always want to build long-term relationships. Once they find that freelancer or that professional or that service provider that does the job for them, they always prefer to stick with that professional or that freelancer. Okay, and that's why you want to make sure you are providing high quality services for this high ticket client. Now, how do you actually know this high ticket client? Because they have traits. The first thing is that these are clients that actually have bigger budgets. You want to look for businesses, not just an individual that wants to just try your product. No, you want businesses that actually need your product to run. You want businesses that have a budget for the service that you're providing. A good example is this. If you're a landing page designer or you're a web developer, there are businesses that actually need your service for their business to run. Okay, their business can't exist without the fact that they need a web developer or a UX designer to actually do certain things for them. Those are the kind of clients you want to actually look for, and they are clients that have a big budget for that service. You don't want to be looking for clients that are just making maybe $100,000 a year or $50,000 a year or something like that. No, those are not the kind of clients you want to look for. You want to look for clients who are in the millions, and I will show you exactly how you can get all of these clients. You want to look for clients who are making millions of dollars every single year. Imagine if you get to work for a company in the real estate industry. If they sell one single home, they could sell a home of maybe $1 million. And if you have a service you're providing, for instance, in my case, as a 3D artist, I could create images that would help them sell their homes faster. And if I have to charge them $2,000 to sell a home of 1.2 million faster, that would kind of be a no-brainer, and to be easy for them to just sign the deal. Or even more, I could charge $5,000 to do something that will help them sell the home faster. Okay, I just have to kind of really prove to them that whatever I'm offering them is valuable. Okay, and we'll get to that later in this course. So these are clients that kind of have urgency to solve their problems. You want to look for people who already have problems and they're looking for someone to actually solve that problem. So usually they're ready to pay premium to get someone to solve that problem for them to really move ahead and move along in their business. Okay, and then they are usually the decision makers. Over the years of experience with working with high ticket clients, I can tell you the decision makers are usually the best to work with. I'm talking about people like the owners of the businesses, or the vice president of the businesses, or the head of a major unit. For instance, the head of sales. If it's a big business, you could be working with the head of sales. But if it's a small business, maybe a business between 1 to 30 employees, definitely you want to be talking to the owners of the businesses. Okay, now where do you actually find these high ticket clients? Okay, if you know that these are the clients, these are the type of people I'm looking for, where do you actually find them? Okay, they are not on the street. How do you actually get them, and how do you get them to actually pay you for your services? The first big one is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the biggest, is the largest by far B2B platform, okay, that currently exists as of today. A lot of your clients, a lot of high value clients are actually listed on LinkedIn. Whether or not they are active on LinkedIn, they are actually listed on LinkedIn. Okay, so you will see a lot of founders, you will see a lot of corporate firms listed on LinkedIn, and these are people that you actually want to work with. And trust me, there's a lot of information you can actually get regarding this client from LinkedIn itself. Okay, so I'm going to be showing you how. And then direct outreach. Okay, I'm talking about cold emailing these clients. And a lot of these clients too that you're going to be cold emailing, you are going to be getting their information directly or indirectly from LinkedIn. Okay, so it still falls back to LinkedIn, but you're going to be doing lots of cold email outreach. Okay, and a lot of people say this doesn't work is because they are doing it wrong. Okay, and I'll be showing you what they are doing wrong and how you can actually avoid those mistakes so that you can actually get these results. And then you want to look for their communities. All of these clients have communities, and it kind of really goes back to knowing who your ideal clients are, doing your research on who your ideal clients are, and knowing where they actually hang out. Okay, knowing the groups they hang out, whether they're on Facebook, whether they're on LinkedIn, depending on the platform, depending on where most of your ideal clients actually hang out. You want to figure that out and actually build authority wherever they are. Okay, so we do have an academy where we are going to be explaining most of all of these things in detail, showing you how to actually find these high ticket clients and where to get them, what to send to them, every single thing, the complete blueprint on how to actually get these high ticket clients. Okay, let's talk about how you can craft an offer that your clients can't refuse. Crafting irresistible offers, because if you actually meet a very high quality client today, what do you tell him? What if you don't have an offer for him? Is definitely not going to pay you for anything. So you want to have an offer that you're going to be giving him that will make sense for him and that he can't refuse, and then he will be able to pay you for your services. Okay, so this has the formula. A good offer has a formula. You need to have a promise. Very simple. Your promise is what you do. In my case, I'm a 3D artist. I create 3D renderings. Okay, that's the promise. Okay, for somebody who is a landing page designer, his promise is I create landing page designs. Okay, then the result, the clear outcome. Okay, what if I do this for you? What would be the clear outcome? What would be the outcome of that promise? In my case, it could be to help you sell homes faster. Okay, I create 3D renderings that helps so in this industry, or that helps sell homes faster. Okay, then the time, you want to throw in the time, which means the deadline or how long it's going to take for you to actually get that result. And then the last thing is the guarantee. You want to have a guarantee. You want to make it risk free for your client as much as possible. So I'm going to go into detail what each of these are. And then you want to have what I call the offer layer cake accelerant. These are things that you keep throwing to your offer to handle objections, because at every point in time, your potential client that wants to buy from you would have objections, and if you don't handle these objections well, you would end up losing this client. I mean, it's like every one of us, when we want to buy stuff, there are times you want to buy phones, you want to buy laptops, you want to buy things, you want to buy gadgets, you want to buy a car. You really like the car, you really like the phone, but you still have doubts. Do I really need it? Is it not too expensive? And things like that. But you might end up going to okay, let me just go price this car. And then you walk into the car lot, and then the salesperson actually sells you on the car, and then you end up paying for that car. And that is because the salesperson was able to handle your objections and got you to pay for that vehicle. So that's the same thing. You have your clients who really need your service, but they'll definitely have objections. It doesn't just come automatically. You need to know how to handle the objections, and I'll be explaining all of those going forward. Okay, so let me show you a weak offer versus an irresistible offer. So this is an example of very weak offer that I see everywhere. I design website, or I'm a 3D artist, or I do 3D renderings. Okay, it doesn't say anything. Okay, and this is an example of a strong offer or a better offer. I'll design a sales funnel. That is the promise. Okay, that doubles your conversion. That is the result. In 30 days, that is the time. Or you have your money back guarantee, and that is the guarantee. Okay, this is a good offer statement, and this is an offer statement. Your offer is way more than this, and I will explain shortly. Okay, so now let's talk about the offer layer cake accelerant. Okay, the extra things you can add to your offer to make it no-brainer. Okay, you have your offer name. For the baseline, the base level of your cake is the offer name or the promise. Like you have your the offer statement or the promise, what you say you will do basically. Okay, basically your promise, I'll make landing page designs that would increase your conversion rate in 30 days, whatever is the case. Okay, that's your offer promise. Okay, your offer name could be something like the sales accelerator. That thing you are promising, you could give it a name and say, okay, the sales accelerator, which means that you're going to, help them boost their sales or boost their conversion rate in 30 days using landing page optimization or things like that. Okay, and then you can have pricing power moves. And what this means essentially is throwing in things that will make it easy for your clients to actually pay for your services. And we see it every time with these big companies. For instance, you want to buy a car and then you get to the lot. Instead of them telling you, oh, this car actually costs maybe 50 million naira or 40 million or 30 million naira, they just tell you, okay, you just have to pay 300,000 per month for this car, or you just have to pay 1 million naira per month for this car. And then you just think, oh, okay, so with 1 million naira, if I give you 1 million naira now, I'll actually get this car and drive home with this car. And they tell you yes. That's a pricing power move. In reality, you actually be paying the complete money, or you would even still be paying even more than the total price of the car. But the fact that it becomes a bit more convenient for you to actually pay for that car, that is a big pricing power move. Another pricing power move could be telling your client that they can pay for your service at the end of the month. Okay, like you don't have to pay me anything now. I'll get to work, and at the end of the month, I will show you an invoice if you believe this makes sense. And then, of course, if you know you are providing value, you believe in what you do, you know the kind of value you provide. And by then, the client would have even interacted with you way more, and you just send in an invoice and it will pay easily. I use this a lot because I know the kind of quality of job I do, and I know the clients will definitely pay for my services. Okay, and then you want to throw in scarcity or urgency. Let me give you an example. You can say things like, for this month, I can only take in one more client because I want to focus on the service delivery. I would love to work with you, but I can't work with everybody. So if this really makes sense for you, let's discuss, okay? Because I can't work with everybody, and I'm also talking with a few more clients, and I can only take one more client. That way, you've kind of thrown in scarcity into your offer, okay? And you have given them a very good reason that you want to focus on delivering what you promise, and that's why you don't want to just take everybody in. And a lot of businesses do this, okay? And then you want to throw in bonuses or premiums. An example is, as a 3D artist, I could say, if you decide to work with me today, or if you decide to work with me or to pay for the service today, I would do maybe 2 additional renderings, or I would do a 360-degree turntable rendering or something for your product. Just showing something that would be a no-brainer, like, oh, okay, I would definitely want that included in my offer. And you let them know, look, this only ends if you decide to work with me today. If it gets to you tomorrow, you don't have that bonus, you don't have that premium. That kind of like pushes the client to actually pay for your service at that time, okay? And then the last thing is you want to throw in your guarantee. Like I mentioned, it could be a money back guarantee. It doesn't always have to be money back. It could be saying, if you don't get the result as promised, I will work an extra 3 months for free until you actually get the results. Okay, that's also a guarantee. Okay, there are many types of guarantee that you can throw in depending on the service you are offering. For me as a 3D artist, usually what I just use as a guarantee is, if you don't like it, then you don't have to pay me. Usually because I know the quality of the work I do is very nice and they will definitely like it. Okay, so it depends on the service and the kind of guarantee that will make sense for the service that you're offering. Now let's talk about the pricing ladder psychology, and this is how you can actually get your potential clients or your prospects or your clients to pay a bit more for your service. Okay, now you can have like a basic plan or a basic price. This is just like the very low price that is just for just the essentials only. If you're a rendering artist like me, I could say I'll give you 3 renderings and that's it. Okay, and then you would have the standard pricing, and this is where you want to throw in the most value. I can say my basic price for 3 renderings, okay, is like $2,000 for instance, or $1,500 for 3 renderings. Okay, and then I'll then say my standard package is for 7 renderings and it's just 2,000 or 2,500. And then if you look at it, if you do the math, it doesn't add up. It just looks like, okay, this makes sense to go with the standard package. Okay, and apart from just throwing like the renderings, I could throw in things like you also get a 360-degree turntable animation for your product. You also get, you want to throw in more value, things that will just look like, okay, it doesn't make sense for me to go with the basic package, let me just go with the standard package. And then for the premium package, you want to now have it like that premium service that You could have that very rich client that want to just throw in some money there and pay for the premium, for the top service. So usually clients will choose between the middle or the premium based on my experience. Okay, they will most likely not want to go for the low price or the low value offer. And imagine if you didn't actually have this pricing ladder. You just say, okay, my charges, I charge $1,500 for 3 engines, and that's it. And then the client will just be like, okay, fine, I'll go with 3 engines. But if you say, I actually charge 1,500 for 3 engines, or you could pay $2,500 and get 7 engines, and then you don't just get 7 engines, you also get this additional or this additional, and then the premium could be like maybe $5,000, and then you throw in a lot of random things there that some people can just decide to pay for if they're interested in your service. So inside the academy, in the 10K Academy, we have the complete guide on how to actually create these irresistible offers. Okay, also you'll be getting the worksheets and the templates to use to actually create this offer. Okay, and it doesn't stop there. We also have like the daily action steps for the next 30 days. Basically, we have it like 30-day sprints where we'll be guiding you on what to do from actually starting or doing your client research up until how you actually land your first client. So within the first 30 days of you joining the sprint, we'll show you how, we'll guide you on what to do, on how to get do your client research, set up your systems, set up a LinkedIn account, every single thing, do your client research, every single thing you need. And by the end of that 30-day sprint, you will have a complete system, an inbound and outbound system of landing high-paying clients. Like I did, the exact system I use, every single thing, you'll have it there. And then we also have this very high value community, like community of like-minded people like you. You know you are actually a step closer to your goal when you are surrounded by like minds, people that actually have the same goal, and people who are actually where you want to be and can actually guide you. The problem a lot of people have is not just knowing what to do. It's kind of like knowing how to actually do it, having implementation guidance. So, and that's why we also have Q&A calls, weekly Q&A calls every Saturday, where you could join the calls and you can ask whatever questions you want to ask, apart from even being able to ask questions in the community, direct in the community. So it's a very, very high value academy that you definitely want to apply for. So let's talk about the cold email formula, the complete system on how to actually land high quality clients using emails. Okay, now a lot of people, and I hear this a lot, that cold emailing doesn't work, and the reason it would not work, and it has not been working and it continue not to work for people, is because they are doing it wrongly. I always like to look at it like this: if you have the opportunity to be in a conference with high quality people, with your potential clients, and then you are seated on a round table, if you don't know what to say, or if you don't know how to sell them, they would actually not just pay you. It doesn't mean the fact that you are sitting on a round table with high quality clients, then they will definitely just give you jobs. Definitely not. Okay, if you don't know what to say and how to actually close them, it will still not work for you. So at that point, you would not say communication doesn't work. The problem is actually you, not cold emailing, not LinkedIn, not any other method that you actually know on how to get clients. The problem is you, and not knowing how to actually get these clients to actually pay you, or know what to say to convince these clients to pay you. Now, so why does cold emailing still work? Okay, the first thing is it's very scalable. Imagine if you are doing 500 or 1000 in a month, and maybe you get one client or two clients. Imagine if you now scale to sending 20,000, 30,000 emails every single month. You can actually 10x your results, which means it's scalable, okay, and it's more predictable than having to wait for an algorithm to actually just favor you. And then cold emailing kind of makes it easy for you to reach out to decision makers directly. Every single of these decision makers have emails that they use. Okay, they use professional emails, and a lot of them register their LinkedIn account with their professional emails, so you can kind of get them from LinkedIn one way or the other. Okay, if you know how to do it right, you actually be getting this high quality clients paying you for your services. So, like, what's the right psychology of reaching out to people? The first is you need to personalize as much as possible. You need to show that you are researching them and that you actually care about them and what they do. Okay, you want to show that you actually research. You don't want to be sending a message to someone and saying, "Hi sir, madam." I even see this a lot. I see it like almost every day. People reaching out to me with cold emails saying things like, "Hello sir." They don't even know my name. I mean, that's the least and the simplest type of personalization you can do. They won't even put your name. You see things like, "Hello sir, I am a whatever. If you have jobs, make sure you can reach out to me. Should I send you my portfolio?" things like that. If that's the kind of email you are sending to people, you will not get jobs. And if you are going to get jobs, you just get scrappy jobs from people who want to just take advantage of you. The first thing is you want to personalize as much as you can. Show that you research their business and you know what you're talking about. The second thing is you want to highlight their pain, you want to highlight their struggle. If you've researched about your client, you've done your client research and your competitor analysis, you know about your industry, you know what they're actually struggling with, and you know how you can actually help them with their struggle. You know how that service that you're offering is going to help them achieve one result or the other that they're trying to achieve. Okay, and then you want to give your offer. So it's very simple. You want to make sure you personalize, you want to talk about their pain, and you want to show how you can help them solve that problem that they have. It's that simple. Okay, now let's talk about the email structure. If you're going to be sending emails, how should the email actually look? Okay, so every email has a subject line. It's kind of like the first thing your prospect sees, okay, when you send an email to them. Okay, so you want to start your personalization from the subject line. A good example is this: your work is amazing, Dan, I would love to work with you. Something like that. I use that a lot and it works a lot for me. Okay, and the reason this is very good is if you say something like, I would love to work with you, Dan, the client doesn't know whether you want to buy from him or actually want to sell him, so we'll most likely click it. If you now say something like, your work is amazing, Dan, I would definitely love to work with you, it kind of leans towards the fact that, oh, this person probably wants to buy from me, so we'll definitely click your email. If you end up pitching him, it doesn't still change the narrative of that subject line. Okay, especially if you do a very good job in pitching the client. Now you want to have the icebreaker, or you want to have that personalization phrase, something that talks about maybe something they recently did or something about their project. For me as a 3D artist, I like to talk about their projects, like love what you did, or maybe a research they did recently. Okay, love what you did with the carbon whatever research, or I love what you did on this particular project you worked on, something like that. That kind of just shows that, okay, you know about their business and they want to kind of respond well to you. Okay, and then you want to now give a value statement. Now at this point, it could be you are driving towards the solution. Let's say, or like me that I'm a 3D artist, I will just say something like, I saw your home listings and I have some ideas on how you can actually increase your conversion rate using CGI for some of these home listings. At that point, the client will most likely have an objection. Okay, so you now want to handle that objection from your first email and saying something like, this is something I recently did for another client that was exactly in your situation, and it helped them boost or they were able to sell more homes faster, or whatever is the situation, depending on the service that you actually offer. Okay, that point you actually just handle the objection and they will probably want to give you an audience. Okay, and then of course, using the social proof, like I mentioned, like you recently did it for this company. I like to write the name of the company. And something that really works well is if there is something that is really common between the new client you're reaching out to and the company that you're using as a proof. And here's an example. If you recently worked with a company in Memphis in the US, it only makes sense to say, I recently did this for this company which is also located in Memphis, just like you, and they got this result. It kind of really makes sense like that, and they will be more interested in working with you. Okay, finally, you want to have the call to action, and the call to action could be a question. It could be something like, are you the right person to talk to regarding this, or can I call you on this number, or something like, when is a good time to talk about this, just something like that. You want to make sure you're asking a question, okay, as your call to action. Okay, don't just say, if you're interested to work with me, do this. No, ask a question. If you ask a question, people will most likely answer your question than if you just tell them from the first email to do something. They will most likely not respond to you. Now, let me show you an example of a bad email versus a good email. Now, look at this. Hi, I'm Malik. I have 1 million years of experience in web design. I can redesign your company website. Are you interested? It might sound ridiculous, but I get emails like this every single day, and I know people are sending emails like this, and that's why I'm using this as an example. Okay, and here's a good one. Hi Dan, loved your recent launch. Here is one tweak, or an idea that could boost your conversion by 20%. Can we chat on Wednesday and Thursday? This is a very good one. Doesn't sound like you are selling him, even though he knows you probably sell him. And here's the thing you need to understand. Clients don't mind if you're actually selling them. They just want to make sure you are selling them on something that will actually benefit them. Look at it like this. You actually go to buy stuff every day and people sell you and you don't mind. Okay, you might think you want to buy a phone and you get to the phone stand and they're trying to sell you. Or you even want to buy a shirt, or you want to buy a smartwatch or a wristwatch or something. The person that wants to sell it to you and you just see him is trying to sell you, and you don't actually mind if they are selling you. You just want to make sure that the person selling you is selling you something that is, you say, I hope it's original, I hope it's quality, I hope it's, things like that. So the clients don't mind if you are selling them. They only just want to make sure you're a high value person and that you are worth their time. Okay. So in the academy, we'll be giving you lots of email templates, okay, from not just the first emails, you have to send follow-up emails. So all of those kind of email templates, depending on the niche you are, how to actually craft these emails, the full walkthrough, the complete guide, the complete emails, you have access to all of those. Okay, how to actually set up all of these tools. You need tools like Apollo.io, Instantly.ai, Gmass, and a lot of these tools that we usually use to make sure we are well set up, because cold emailing is more than just sending emails to your clients. If you don't set up your tools well, you will not land in their inbox. Okay, there are a lot of tips and secrets that you need to know to make sure you are landing in the inbox of the client. And imagine if you do everything well, you have a very good offer, but you're landing in a spam folder. It should just look like, okay, this thing doesn't work. You have to tick all of these boxes, and that is what we do for you, for those that will be joining the academy. Okay, so we'll also be explaining all of that. And okay, we'll also be showing you the complete sequences for different niches. Okay, if you are a web designer, the kind of sequence you need. If you are, all of those templates would have them in a swipe file that you have access to if you get inside the academy. Okay, like I mentioned before, you also have access to the 30-day sprint, which is day-to-day action steps for the next 30 days on what to do to actually land high paying clients. Okay, the way we designed the academy is kind of like a fail proof academy. You have every single thing you need to actually get the result, and the only difference, the only thing that will be stopping you from getting the results is just you. Okay, you have the templates, you have the tools, you have the sequences, you have the samples, you have the guide, day-to-day guide, like literally me telling you, this is day 1, do this, this is day 2, do this, for 30 days straight until you actually get the results. You have your complete systems set up. Okay, and then you have access to a very high value community, like I mentioned, and you also have access to the weekly Q&A calls where we'll be discussing what you are doing, if you have questions, and the challenges you're facing and how you can actually overcome those challenges, because all of these come with challenges and nothing good comes easy. All right, the fact that you have someone that can actually guide you would make it easier for you to actually achieve your goals. Okay, so if you have not yet applied, make sure you click the button below this video and apply to join the academy. Okay, so now let's talk about LinkedIn as a gold mine. Like I mentioned before, high quality clients hang out on LinkedIn, and if you have a LinkedIn account, you're not getting high quality clients, you are actually just sitting on a gold mine. Okay, so you want to make sure you are utilizing LinkedIn and using it to get high quality clients. Now look at it like this: your cold email outreach is your outbound strategy. You have a strategy where you are reaching out to people, and then your LinkedIn will now become your inbound strategy, where people will be reaching out to you for high quality clients, if that makes sense. Okay, so you want to make sure you have your LinkedIn set up, you have your inbound system well set up on your LinkedIn account, and then your outbound setup will be your cold email outreach, if that makes sense. Okay, so why does LinkedIn work? Like I mentioned, it's the largest B2B client database that exists till today. Okay, and then decision makers are active on LinkedIn every single day, because it's like social media for businesses. So your clients are actually there to trying to get businesses to buy from them. So, and they're also looking for high quality people to work with. So if you're not on LinkedIn and you say you're looking for clients, I don't know where you should be. So your clients are on LinkedIn, they're active on LinkedIn, so you should be there. You should literally just hang out where your high quality clients are hanging out. Okay, and LinkedIn is very perfect for building authority, and it's kind of easier to build authority on a platform like LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is designed like a shop. Your profile page is like your shop. It's like you go there, you set up, this is my shop, this is what I do. Okay, so it is easier to build authority on LinkedIn than any other platform. So quickly, let's talk about how you can optimize your LinkedIn profile. The first is you want to have a banner. A lot of people just ignore the banner section of their LinkedIn profile. No, you want to have a banner. It shows you know what you're doing. So you want to also make sure your headline is clearly written on your profile. Okay, what you do, who you do it for, and the kind of results that they can expect. Okay, then your about section should have a very nice story. Okay, not story about how you found your cat. No, a nice story about how you actually help your clients get to where they want to be. You want to have a lot of social proof, and you want to have a call to action clearly shown on your LinkedIn profile. Okay, now how do you actually engage the right right way on LinkedIn. The very first one is comment, and this is getting really big on LinkedIn now. Okay, it's actually very easy to grow on LinkedIn using comments, like not just saying things like great post. I mean, imagine your potential client has a viral post and then you add very high quality insights, okay, to the post that your client made. Not just saying things like nice one or great post. No, you want to add valuable insights, okay, or valuable comments to your potential client's post, okay. And then you want to connect with people, okay. You want to connect with people that you think are your potential clients, okay. You send connection requests, you send personalized invites, okay. And then you want to DM your potential clients, okay. You offer a kind of value and then you pitch softly later on, okay. That kind of structure. So for those that will be joining the academy, we explain all of this, how to do it to the letter, and the tools you can use, because we have tools that we use to kind of automate the entire process, okay. And then you want to show authority with value-based posts, okay. You want to post things that are highly valuable, and then you want to show authority. You want to show that you are an authority in that your niche, all right. And then you want to utilize LinkedIn groups. LinkedIn group is another gold mine that people don't really take advantage of, because there are some of, depending on the niche you are, you can actually get high quality clients from utilizing LinkedIn groups, okay. Now here's a sample LinkedIn DM, okay. Hi Sarah, loved your post about scaling e-com brands. Quick idea. I recently helped a brand like yours grow sales by 30% with a new funnel. We want to share details. This is a very simple one. And if they are interested in actually growing their business, they would actually like respond to you. And of course, you want to follow up. It's not just from the first message or email. You want to make sure you have follow-ups. It's not just one email. And that's the mistake a lot of people make. Okay. So inside the academy, we are going to be explaining how you can actually really take advantage of LinkedIn. Okay, because this is a mini course, and those that will be joining the academy get access to the full blueprint, the full course. Okay, we have a full course in the academy, and then we'll be showing you how you can really utilize LinkedIn to actually get this high quality client. Okay, so like I mentioned, we'll be giving you lots of messaging scripts for those that join the academy, and then the templates, the kind of templates on how to attract inbound leads. Okay, the kind of post template, the kind of post you post. What do they actually need? It's not just any post you post, it's not any random post you post. There's certain kind of posts that actually attract inbound leads. So those kind of posts, will be sharing them with you in the academy, okay. And then, like I mentioned, there are tools that you kind of use to automate the entire setup. All of those tools, will be sharing them with you inside the academy. And then the 30-day sprint. I keep mentioning this because this is really the most important thing for those who join the academy. Is really daily steps from day 1 to day 30, what they need to do, like kind of like baby steps that build up and add up into something very big, okay. So we have that also in the academy, and of course the community of like-minded people, and the weekly Q&A calls that you get to ask questions. You get to ask me questions, and we get to discuss and chat regarding your project, okay, regarding your outreach and your systems, whatever you're working on. Okay, now let's talk about how you can actually get clients to pay you. Basically, how to master selling. All of these things we keep saying, if you don't know how to close the client, it wouldn't make sense. Imagine if you get lots of, you are reaching out to 1,000 people, or reaching out to 5,000 people, 10,000 people, and you don't really know how to close them, and then you are attending meetings. And this happened to me. Okay, when I just started my outreach, I was getting a lot of people wanting to hop on calls with me, and when I hop on a call, it just ended up being like interviews. I have the clients just asking me questions, and I'm answering, and I'm fidgeting, and I'm like, yes. No, you don't want that to be the situation. As the person who is selling, you want to make sure you're always positioning yourself as a problem solver. Like they're consulting you. You should always look like that. Okay, you want to control the conversation. So I'm going to be explaining that for you. Now, the first thing is, a lot of freelancers fail at selling. And it's normal. You are a freelancer. You are not a salesperson. Okay? If you really want to build a freelance business, you need to know how to sell your freelance services, or else you would always be reliant, or you always need to rely on these platforms to sell your services. Okay, the one big reason freelancers fail is that they focus on what they do instead of what results they actually bring. Okay, you talk about, I'm going to design, I'm going to give you social renderings, I'm going to design, rather than talking about, okay, I'm going to help you get more sales, or I'm going to help you boost your conversion rate, and you kind of like make them picture it. Let me give you an example. If you're telling your clients that you can actually help them increase their conversion rates by say 15% or 25% based on your experience, depending on the service you're offering. I'm just giving an example here. You can say something like, currently now, if you're earning $100,000, okay, per year, if you decide to work with me, and then within the next 2 months, definitely you should be earning nothing less than $125,000 or something like that. Just do the math for them, and then they'll start thinking that, okay, this could actually make sense for an investment. And then if they keep having objections, you keep throwing in the things that will block the objections, that will handle the objections, that will cancel out the objections. For instance, you can tell them, even though I'm sure this is going to work, you don't have to pay me right now. You can pay me 2 weeks after working. Like we'll start working, and 2 weeks into this, if it makes sense, if what I didn't make sense, then you actually pay. We'll send you an invoice. Does that make sense? And things like that, kind of like handle all of the objections they have. Just make them lean into wanting to work with you, okay? Because you kind of show, I'm focused on you getting that result I'm actually promising you, okay? Not just how you're going to do it. Not talking about I'll create 5 pages, I'll create 5 landing pages, I'll create 6. No, that's not what they need to hear. They need to hear how whatever you want to do will translate into more money. It doesn't always have to be about getting more sales. It could be saving time, okay? And that's something that I also use. For instance, as a 3D artist, if you work with architects, a lot of architects like to do their renderings themselves. They like to do all of their works themselves. Now you tell them, imagine if I lift the burden of rendering the project from you, and then you can focus on actually getting approvals and doing other aspects and actually growing your business. And then because rendering is the only thing I do, I tend to do it even way better than you do, and kind of just make sense from there. That way they can actually see, oh, okay, it will actually make sense to work with this guy. Really, you need to focus on the results they are going to be getting if they choose to work with you, if that makes sense, okay? Now, let's talk about the right way to sell. What is the right way to sell? You need to ask questions. And if you don't know what your clients really need, you can't help them. If you are not asking the right questions, you can't just really help them. You can't uncover their pain. And a lot of mistakes, and the mistake I see a lot of people making when they just start is they hop on these calls and end up just being the client interviewing you. It should not be like that. If you up on a call, on a sales call, and you're asking questions, the client will ask you questions. When the client asks you a question, you respond to the question, and then you ask a follow-up question. Let me give an example. If the client asks you a question and says, okay, tell me how well have you been doing this? Do you have a lot of experience doing this? You can say, oh yeah, I have a ton of experience doing this. You can just say, recently I just worked with Meridian Homes, and they were in exact situation that you were in. They had a lot of designs that were not rendered, and it was kind of like taking their time. And then we helped them do all of the renderings, and because we have a team, we're able to do it faster. I know you talk about things like that, and then you talk about the results, and then they were able to kind of make more sales within the first 3 months. Okay, now I'm actually just curious, is this something that have you actually tried working with a freelancer or an agency in the past? So you actually turn the table, okay? You show your expertise. At that point, you now are in control of the conversation, because they will respond to your question. And when they respond to your question, you ask a follow-up question. You say, okay, that's amazing. Then you can start asking questions like, okay, how long have you actually been selling? Or do you currently have a channel? Or the relevant questions depending on the service that you're actually offering. Relevant questions. You don't ask questions that are just random. You can make sure you ask relevant questions, okay? And then that way they would say a lot of things about their business. And here's one simple trick that people don't know about closing high ticket clients. The more they interact with you, the more they're likely to actually trust you and actually pay you for your service. If you meet somebody and then you up on a 3-minute or 5-minute call and you expect him to then pay you like $3,000, $4,000, it won't happen. So you want to make sure you have lengthy conversations with them, uncover their pain, talk about their projects. Some will get so excited and they'll start telling you about their history. Don't worry, just make sure you listen. They will uncover things that you end up using to sell them, okay? And the more you interact with them, the more the likelihood of them buying from you. It's a very big selling psychology, okay? And then the next thing is you want to position your solution. Like I mentioned, you can say things like, okay, based on, you want to make sure you're always penning things down in your meetings, okay? Based on what you said, you mentioned that you haven't actually worked with freelancers before. You mentioned that it would really help if you can, get this done faster. You mentioned that it's also dragging down your sales. You mentioned that, you want to reiterate things that they said. And then you say, okay, this is what we're going to do. If we take the burden of actually doing the renderings, we take it off you, and then you are able to work on this faster, and then you're actually able to scale faster, you're able to make more sales, and then you say the benefits. That is the ROI, okay? the return on the investment. Okay, you want to mention that, you want to state it for them. You don't want to say things like, so I'll be giving you we'll do 5 pages design here, we'll redesign your logo. No, no, no. They don't need those. What you want to talk about is the solution and how your service, or you want to paint the problem for them in their own words and saying how you would actually help them, solve that problem, if that makes sense. Okay, and then you want to always make sure you tie back what you are going to be doing to their business goals. If their business goals is to get more sales, is to grow, you can say things like, and then if we do this for you, we take away the heavy lifting, that would mean you would actually be able to get to your goals faster, and things like that. Always make sure you are tying it back to their business goals. Now let's talk about handling objections. I mentioned handling objections earlier, and this is very important, so let's talk about it. Okay, if they have an objection in price, how do you actually handle it? You want to show the ROI. You want to say things like, this 2K project can guarantee 10K plus in sales. Okay, like if they pay you $2,000 for this project, it can guarantee so amount in sales. Maybe you are doing conversion rate optimization or whatever you are doing. If you can tie it directly to the sales, okay. If you can't tie it directly to the sales, like the examples I gave, you want to mention what they are benefiting. If they're benefiting in sales or in time or in actually helping them reach their goals faster. Okay. Sometimes it could just even be what you could be selling is actually helping them have more time to to go on vacations, or depending on what you're selling. Okay, and then if they have trust issues, okay, you want to make sure you use testimonials. You want to talk about case studies. You want to talk about people who were in similar situations as they were, and then talk about what you did to actually solve those problems for them. Okay, and how they can actually get the same result. All right, so you want to talk about testimonials, you want to use case studies. Okay, and then you want to talk about timing. Okay, if they say things like, I'm not sure if now is the right time, because this happens a lot. Okay, I'm not really sure if I really want to go ahead with it now. Okay, you want to handle the objections like a boss. Okay, say things like, what do I have to do to make it happen right away? What do I have to do to convince you? Okay, and then you say things like, I can only take one more client now, and I'm in talks with 3 clients now. Okay, because we have 2 clients we're working with, and I can only take maybe 2 more clients or something like that. Okay, like I mentioned, the kind of example I gave. You want to be confident. Know what you are doing. If they see the confidence in you, if they see that this guy knows what he's saying, they will actually trust and they'll buy from you. Yeah, let's talk about the guarantee psychology. The psychology of using guarantee. You need to always remove the risk from your clients, from your potential clients. Okay, things like it could be money back, or it could be results based, or anything. Okay, a good one that has worked for me is not necessarily money back, because me personally, I don't do money back. What I do is, you can pay me maybe midway into the project or at the end of the month. Say if we're at the beginning of the month, I can tell you I'll start working on this project. 2 weeks into the project, we'll review it if it makes sense for you. If it doesn't make sense, then I'll stop working, and then we'll know it doesn't make sense. And that has never happened. A lot of times when we review it, they always love it. Okay, but it's just kind of, it has removed the risk at the beginning. Because if you're asking money up front for people that, especially if they're working with you for the first time, and then you're asking money up front, they have that big objection, especially because of working with the internet. What if I pay this guy and this guy just ghosts me? You want to remove that objection, and it could be you get your money back, or you say, you don't have to pay me now till the end of the month. By the end of the month or 2 weeks in, we'll review the whole process. If it's working for you, then I will send you an invoice to make the initial payments. Something like that. That's a guarantee. Okay, you want to use the offer accelerant like I mentioned before to make sure you're handling objections and using the guarantee. Okay, so you want to boost their confidence to say yes. Okay, the fact that you've removed the risk from them kind of gives them the confidence to want to just work with you. And then a lot of times, once you throw in all of these things and then they are still apprehensive, you can just let them know what is stopping you from actually getting started now. Is there anything that is stopping you? If they say, we have a system now, I'm not sure if this will work, you can say things like, we are going to start working on this and it won't affect your system. We'll do this. You want to make sure you're handling every single objections on the call. And then you tell them, are you ready to proceed with this? Okay, so all of these things are their psychology that you can actually use to get people to pay for your service. So inside the 10K Academy, we're actually going to be showing you how to handle objections like a boss. Like I practically have a script on what to say. If the client says this, you say this. If the client has objections on price, what to say. If he has objections on time, what to say. All of these scripts I'm going to be showing you in the academy. Okay. So inside the academy, you also get to learn how to take these sales calls like a boss. Because if you're going to be working with high ticket clients, a lot of them will want to hop on sales calls with you. Okay, you need to actually know how to take these calls, and there's actually a formula on how to actually take these calls, and the first few minutes what to say, the next set of minutes how you split the calls, how you ask the questions, and all of those things. So those are the things we actually discussed at length in the academy. Okay, and of course you have the complete sales system and the onboarding process, how to actually onboard your clients. If you are dealing with high ticket clients, there are certain things they expect from you. You can't take $5,000 from a client and just don't say anything the next day or something. There are certain things they expect from you in terms of communication, in terms of project management. They want to see what you are doing, and they want to see clarity and all of those things. How to actually properly communicate with them, how to onboard them, and all of these details we discuss in the academy. Okay, and of course the sprint. The sprint, like I mentioned, is one of the most important parts of the academy, because it's not just for you to know how to actually do these things. It's for you to actually take action. And when you join the sprint from day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, up until day 30, what you have to do, and by day 30 you have a complete system. You'll have started getting some people requesting your services, and if possible you'll have started landing some high quality clients. Okay, basically having you set up your inbound and your outbound system within that 30 days, and having you start landing high quality clients. Okay, and then of course you also have access to the community, the high quality, the high value community, where apart from just having access to high quality people, there are also going to be a lot of gems in the community, like things that work, the latest updates in the industry, and all of those things, because you need to stay updated. Things change in this industry. Okay, and then of course you have the weekly Q&A calls. You don't want to miss that. That's also very important, because what you need really is guidance on implementation. Okay, conclusively, let's do a recap of what we learned in this course. Okay, this is a mini course. The main course is in the academy, because we have the complete blueprint in the academy where we cover every single thing you need to know. Okay, so in this mini course we learned a few things. First thing, we learned the reality of freelancing, that you cannot rely on these platforms. You need to actually build inbound and outbound systems. You need to actually take control of getting high quality clients. All right, and then high quality clients, high ticket clients are everywhere. If you don't know how to actually sell them, you will never sell them. And you need to look at it like this. You are in Lagos, you are anywhere, people are buying cars. Cars are relatively high ticket commodities, but people are paying for them. But why are people not actually paying you? They're actually paying those that sell those cars, because those people selling cars sell high ticket products. So if you have something that is high ticket that the clients need, they will actually pay you for it. These high quality clients are actually everywhere. Okay, you just need to make sure you are able to provide value. Okay, and now we talked about how you need to build inbound and outbound systems. Inbound systems using platforms like LinkedIn, Facebook, and what have you, and then outbound systems using cold emailing or DM or things like that. So these systems, they actually work. It's the exact system I use to land high quality clients up to this day. Okay, and then we talked about how to create your offers, and how cold outreach are the key to actually landing high quality clients. Because the truth is, high quality clients would not come to meet you if they don't know you exist. You need to show up, and you need to reach out to these clients to actually show the value of what you do. So it's all about value. It's all about you being able to provide value, and that you can actually solve some of their problems. Okay, so why is it very important to implement? Why is it that implementation is everything? A lot of people know things. There's a lot of knowledge on platforms like YouTube everywhere. There are a lot of courses everywhere, but people still fail. And why is that? The first thing is that knowing the system doesn't actually equate to results. Knowing what to do doesn't necessarily mean you automatically get the result. A lot of people know what to do, but a lot of people don't get the results they want. Okay, results come from action. It comes from consistency and guidance. Okay, and all of this is what we're going to be giving you in the 10K Academy. So if you choose to join the academy, it is designed for you to actually get results. Okay, so inside the academy you have the complete blueprint course, A to Z, complete step-by-step guide on how to actually build this inbound and the outbound systems of landing high quality clients. And of course, the 30-day action plan sprint. Okay, basically what you have to do from day 1, day 2, day 3 up until day 30 to get high quality clients. Okay, what will guide you on what to do. Don't do less than that, don't do more than that, just do that, and we can assure you by day 30 you have a complete system and you will have started getting high quality clients. Okay, and then weekly Q&A calls. Okay, if you join the academy and you start implementing some of these things, you have opportunity to actually ask questions. Okay, and you say, oh, I've implemented this, I tried this, I got this result, it's not what I'm expecting, why is that? Okay, because I've been doing this, there are other people that have been doing this before you, they can actually guide you. And if you think you can do this on your own, then fine. But I can assure you, if you are in a community of high quality people and you have someone who can guide you on implementation, you can actually fast track your results and reduce the time to take you to actually achieving your goals. So the Q&A calls are very important. If you join the academy, make sure you don't miss them. We also have the community and the status reward. Majorly, we have kind of like a reward system where if you take certain actions, you keep growing in it. We have ranks in the community. So if you just join the community and you haven't taken the course, you have your level. If you take the course, you grow in level. If you start taking action, you grow in level. And of course, when you start getting results, you become like a legend and things like that. So all of those things is just kind of to kind of create like a brotherhood and encourage people to take action and actually get the results. Okay, and then you also have access to templates and systems and all of the things that have worked for me. You don't have to kind of like start testing the waters. You just need to take it like, it's kind of like a plug and play thing. Take what has worked for me, implement it for the services you are offering, and then start getting the results. Okay, if you know you are not an action taker, or you are not disciplined, or you don't actually believe that the system works, okay, you have doubt, or if you have doubt in your ability to achieve all of these things, that all of these goals, if they seem too big for you, or if you think it's not real, okay, I don't want you to apply for the academy. I don't just want a lot of people who would be pessimists, okay, people who are apprehensive, people don't really believe that they can actually achieve things. Okay, it's not just to motivate you. I'm actually just being realistic. I don't want people who would actually slow other people down. If you have all this kind of doubt, don't just bother applying for the academy, because we try to screen out people based on the way you answer some questions. Even with that, we can still get some people who are not really serious joining the academy, and just kind of becomes a problem for us. So if you know you're not an action taker, you're not disciplined, you have doubt in the system, you don't really believe that you can achieve some of these things, don't just bother applying. Okay, you can try things out on your own, but we are not going to be willing to work with you if you realize that you fall into one of these categories. Okay, so only apply if you're an action taker. Okay, if you are ready to take action now, if you're ready to take action, you're ready to start getting results, apply. Okay, if you are disciplined, in the next 30 days you can be very serious, you can be focused, and you can be disciplined to make sure you achieve whatever you want to achieve, then you should apply to join the academy. Okay, if you are somebody that loves to offer value, if you are somebody that loves to do things well, okay, then you can join the academy, you can apply. And then if you are really ready to invest in yourself, you need to invest your time, you need to invest your money, you need to invest your energy if you want to actually get real results. Okay, and then if you have long-term success goals, because all of these systems are not just systems on how to get 1 or 2 quick clients. If you get a client today and it pays $20,000, that $20,000 will finish. You will spend it, finish. Okay, and then you start looking for another client. No. If you don't have long-term goals on how to actually build an empire, you want to build a big agency, you want to build something big, you want to build something that changes stories. Okay, you want to change people's lives. Imagine if you have a business and you are earning like $100,000, $50,000 every single year offering your services, and you then employ a lot of Nigerians that are working under you. You have a studio, or you have an office, you have a team. You're actually changing people's life, you're actually making impact. Okay, so if you have that kind of goal, if you're that kind of person, definitely want to see you in the academy. Okay, so it's time for you to actually take action. Okay, it's up to you. You don't want to just be someone that just goes with where wind of life blows you. Okay, if you see that, oh, some people are taking masters, I'm going to take my masters. Oh, I think the next thing is to take some certification programs. You don't even know why you're doing it. You just believe, okay, I think I should do my PhD. You don't want to leave your career to chance. Okay, you don't want to just be there and let wind be blowing you everywhere like paper. No, you want to have goals and actually take action to actually achieve those goals. Okay, and then the only difference between you and your goals is actually just you. It is you, is the actions that you take today, is the decisions that you take today that actually help you achieve your goals. Okay, The decision that I took to actually learn how to build systems like this has literally changed my life and changed the life of my family, and can actually change your life too. The only difference is you. No one is going to come and change your life for you. If there's no helper that is anywhere that's going to come and change your life for you, it's you. It's the actions that you take that will determine the results that you will get. Okay, I'm Malik once again. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for trusting me. And I can't wait to see you guys inside the academy.